We are now under informal resolutions, and we have one for this evening. Madam Clerk, will you please read informal resolution number 1 by title?
Personnel Committee confirming the appointment of Mr. Darren Bailey to the Tax Incentive Review Board commencing 3/24/25 to expire upon completion of his term as a council member. Madam President.
Thank you. Leader Mario.
Madam President, I move we adopt informal resolution number 1.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to adopt informal resolution number 1. Are there any remarks? Hearing none, by voice vote, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. The ayes have it, the motion carries, and informal resolution number 1 is adopted. We are now under communications. Let the journal show that all communications are received as read. We are now under ordinances and formal resolutions for their first reading. Madam Clerk, would you please begin with ordinance number 12?
An ordinance authorizing the mayor or director of public service to enter into a community reinvestment area agreement with Goodbetter LLC, Growing Real Estate LLC, and Hillshire Park Electric Company to provide real property tax exemptions and to enter into a job creation and retention tax incentive agreement with Hillshire Park Electric Company for up to 60% of income taxes for a period not to exceed 10 years and declare the same to be an emergency. Referred to Community and Economic Development. Number 13, an ordinance approving and accepting the replat of lots 22-646 and 22-647 and declaring the same to be an emergency. Referred to Public Safety and Thoroughfares. Number 14, an ordinance authorizing the mayor or director of public safety to accept $7,500 in grant funds from the USPCA AKC Reunite K-9 grant and to enter into contract for the purchase of one police K-9, amending the 2025 final budget ordinance and declaring the same to be an emergency. Referred to Finance. Number 15, an ordinance authorizing the mayor or director of public service to advertise, receive bids, award, and execute all contracts, execute professional services contract for construction oversight services, and enter into all contracts utilizing any procurement process authorized by law for the Cromer Reservoir Improvement Project. The auditor is authorized to pay all moral obligations for contract change orders that are otherwise approved by the Board of Control, pursuant to Canton Codified Ordinance 105.14, within the established dollar amount thresholds, and to receive all loan and revenue proceeds and track project expenses, creating the 5242 Cromer Reservoir Improvement Project Fund, and declaring the same to be an emergency. Referred to Finance. Number 16, a resolution authorizing the mayor or director of public service to apply for, accept, and enter into a water supply revolving loan account on behalf of the city of Canton for planning, design, and/or construction of drinking water facilities, and designating a dedicated repayment source for the loan, and declaring the same to be an emergency. Referred to Finance. Number 17, an ordinance authorizing the mayor or director of public service to enter into all contracts necessary in order to implement the 2025 summer youth programs, amending the final budget ordinance, and declaring the same to be an emergency. Referred to Finance. Madam President.
Thank you. We are now under ordinances and formal resolutions for their second reading. Madam Clerk, would you please begin with ordinance number 18?
An ordinance amending ordinance number 5577 as amended, known as the City of Canton zoning ordinance, and declaring the same to be an emergency. Number 19, an ordinance authorizing the mayor or director of public service to enter into an amendment of the JED TSG contract and declaring the same to be an emergency. Number 20, an ordinance authorizing the clerk of council to certify to the county auditor unpaid and delinquent charges for services performed by and/or on behalf of the City of Canton Building and Code Department for board-up, clean-up, demolition charges, and declaring the same to be an emergency. Madam President.
Thank you. And I'm a little unclear just because my paperwork's a little different. Are we voting tonight on number 20?
Yes.
Okay. Then Leader Mario.
Madam President, I move to suspend the statutory rules on ordinance number 20.
Second.
Thank you. It's moved and seconded to suspend the statutory rules on ordinance number 20. Are there any remarks?
No, I always just
Hearing none, roll call vote,
then
please.
that way we have
Mario.
versions of me, and I have
Crystal
support.
Smith. Bailey.
You got it.
Kimbrough. Scaglione,
No problem.
Chris
I'll
Smith,
see like always.
Fisher,
And I'll let them know to
Cook,
sit there and take
Sacco,
it.
Morris. 11 yeas, Madam President.
Thank you. Leader Mayor.
Madam President, I move we adopt ordinance number 20.
Second.
It's moved and seconded that you adopt ordinance number 20. Are there any remarks? Hearing none, roll call vote, please.
Muriel,
Aye.
Babcock,
Aye.
Crystal Smith, Maley, Kimbrough, Scaglione, Chris Smith, Fisher, Cooks, Sacco, Morris. 11 yeas, Madam President.
Thank you. The motion carries and ordinance number 20 is adopted. We are now under ordinances and formal resolutions for their third, final reading and vote. Madam Clerk, would you please begin with ordinance number 21?
An ordinance adopting the 2025 annual appropriations for the city of Canton and declaring the same to be an emergency.
Thank you. Leader Mario.
Madam President, I move we adopt ordinance number 21.
Second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded to adopt ordinance 21. Are there any remarks? And we will have an amendment under this ordinance.
Good. Madam President, I move we amend ordinance number 21.
Second.
For the copy in front of everybody.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to amend ordinance number 21 for the copy before each of you. Yes, Member Sacco.
What is the amendment? What part has been amended on this?
The amendment for the budget ordinance is, there are two items. We're adding $200,000 to a railroad crossing project out of the comprehensive plan fund number 2175, and we're adding $40,000 to a 4th Street Bridge project in Fund 4501. That's the only amendments.
Are there any other questions? I see Member Morris looking quizzical. Member Morris.
Yeah, explain $200K out of comprehensive plan funds to a railroad project.
Comprehensive plan fund funds a number of different projects throughout the city, and the engineering department is in charge of this project, and they're requesting the $200,000. I believe it's in the Allen Avenue area down there. Is it? I forget what street. Is that Allen Avenue that they're doing that bridge or the railroad crossing? I believe it's that project.
Yes, Member Sacco.
What was the second thing you said?
$40,000 out of the capital fund for the 4th Street Bridge project.
Which number was that again?
4501. It's in Fort Code 202018. We've added 40,000 to that.
All right, thank you.
Sure.
Now, are there any other remarks under this amendment at this time? All right, hearing none, by voice vote, all those in favor of the amendment signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed to the amendment, no.
No.
Okay. The ayes have it, the motion carries. Leader.
Madam President, I move we adopt ordinance number 21 as amended.
Second.
It's moved and seconded to adopt ordinance number 21 as amended. Are there any remarks other than what we've already heard under this ordinance as amended? Hearing none, roll call vote, please, Madam Clerk.
Muriel, Babcock, Crystal Smith, Maley, Kimbrough, Scaglione, Chris Smith, Fisher, Cooks, Sacco, Morris. 11 yeas, Madam President.
Thank you. The motion carries and ordinance number 21 as amended has been adopted. Madam Clerk, ordinance number 22, please.
An ordinance authorizing the appropriate officials to purchase and/or lease various titled vehicles, enter into contract for government leases, loans to assist with the purchase of vehicles and equipment, advertise, receive bids, award, and enter into contract for those purchases and any projects described in Exhibit A that exceed any applicable dollar amount thresholds. Alternatively, enter into contract for the purchases and projects pursuant to any procurement process authorized by law. Enter into all professional services contracts described in Exhibit A, waive the informal resolution requirements of Canton Codified Ordinance 105.09 for purchases approved for this ordinance. Pay all moral obligations for construction contract change orders that are otherwise approved by the Board of Control pursuant to Canton Codified Ordinance 105.14 within the established dollar amount thresholds. Pay all moral obligations for construction contract change orders that took place prior to the passage of this ordinance, amending the 2025 final appropriation ordinance, and declaring the same to be an emergency.
Thank you. Leader Merritt.
Madam President, I move we adopt ordinance number 22.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to adopt ordinance 22. There will be an amendment. Are there any remarks?
Madam President, I move we amend ordinance number 22, put the copy in front of everybody.
Second.
Okay. It's been moved and seconded to amend ordinance 22 per the copy that everyone has in front of them. Now, are there remarks under this amendment?
Madam President.
Yes. Well, I'm sorry. Yes.
He's going to ask what I'm going to ask. Go ahead.
Okay, go ahead, Member Sacco.
Can I find out what the amendment is on this, please?
Certainly.
The amendment to the capital budget affects 3 line items. The first line item is we are taking $900,000 from the Harbor Heights project because it came in under budget, which is good. We're going to reallocate those dollars. $600,000 will be used at the Cleveland Avenue project. It's a concrete project down by Cleveland Avenue South. That bridge area, if you know, it's really rough down there, and it's a concrete project that is going to happen there to repair that disaster. The second item is there is $300,000 being allocated to the building maintenance fund for this building. When they were down in the basement, doing the renovation in the basement area and shoring up certain areas of the garage floor, they found more problems than what they had anticipated. So there's a $300,000, I think, change order coming that will require these dollars.
Are there further questions under this amendment? Okay. Hearing nothing further, by voice vote, all those in favor of the amendment signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. The ayes have it, the motion carries. Leader.
Madam President, I move we adopt ordinance number 22 as amended.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to adopt ordinance number 22 as amended. Are there any remarks under this ordinance as amended? Hearing none, roll call vote, please.
Merrill. Babcock.
Aye.
Crystal Smith. Maley. Kimbrough. Scaglione. Chris Smith. Fisher. Cooks. Sacco. Morris. 11 yeas, Madam President.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. The motion carries and ordinance number 22 as amended has been adopted. Madam Clerk, ordinance number 23, please.
An ordinance authorizing the mayor or director of public service to advertise, receive bids, award, and enter into all contracts necessary for the purchase of 1 full-size cargo van, 1 4x4 pickup truck, 1 single-axle Freightliner dump truck with stainless bed, and 1 Ventrex finish mower with accessories and a brush off, or to alternatively purchase said items pursuant to any procurement process authorized by law, and declaring the same to be an emergency.
Thank you. Leader Merritt.
Madam President, I move we adopt ordinance number 23.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that you adopt ordinance number 23. Are there any remarks? Hearing none, roll call vote, please.
Merrill.
Aye.
Babcock.
Aye.
Crystal Smith. Maley. Kimbrough. Scaglione. Chris Smith. Fisher. Cooks. Sacco. Morris. 11 yeas, Madam President.
Thank you. The motion carries and ordinance number 23 is adopted. Ordinance number 24, please. That's quite fine.
An ordinance authorizing the mayor or director of public service to enter into an easement agreement with the Ohio Power Company, a unit of American Electric Power, for the installation of their electric facilities on the city service center property necessary for delivering electric service to the new traffic maintenance building, and declaring the same to be an emergency.
Thank you. Leader Mario.
Madam President, I move we adopt ordinance number 24.
Second.
It's moved and seconded to adopt ordinance number 24. Are there any remarks? Hearing none, roll call vote, please.
Merrill,
Aye.
Babcock,
Aye.
Crystal Smith, Maley, Kimbrough, Scaglione, Chris Smith, Fisher, Cooks, Sacco, Morris. 11 yeas, Madam President.
Thank you. Motion carries and ordinance number 24 is adopted. Ordinance number 25, please.
A resolution authorizing the mayor or director of public service to apply for, accept, and enter into a supplemental water pollution control loan fund agreement on behalf of the city of Canton for planning, design, and/or construction of wastewater facilities, and designating a dedicated repayment source for the loan, and declaring the same to be an emergency.
Thank you. Leader Mario.
Madam President, I move we adopt ordinance number 25.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to adopt ordinance number 25. Are there any remarks? Hearing none, roll call vote, please.
Merrill,
Aye.
Babcock,
Aye.
Crystal Smith, Maley, Kimbrough, Scaglione, Chris Smith, Fisher, Cooks, Sacco, Morris. 11 yeas, Madam President.
Thank you. Motion carries and ordinance number 25 is adopted. Ordinance number 26, please.
An ordinance authorizing the mayor or director of public service to enter into contract change orders number 3 and 4 with Winger Excavating Inc. in an amount not to exceed $649,996.95 for the 4th Street Southeast Sanitary Sewer Improvements GP 1338, authorizing the auditor to pay all moral obligations related to these change orders and declaring the same to be an emergency.
Thank you. Leader Mario.
Madam President, I move we adopt ordinance number 26.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to adopt ordinance number 26. Are there any remarks? Hearing none, roll call vote, please.
Merrill,
Aye.
Babcock,
Aye.
Crystal Smith, Maley, Kimbrough, Scaglione, Chris Smith, Fisher, Cooks, Sacco, Morris. 11 yeas, Madam President.
Thank you. The motion carries and ordinance number 26 is adopted. Ordinance number 27, please.
An ordinance authorizing the mayor or director of public service to enter into change order number 1 and final with H.R. Gray and Associates LLC in an amount not to exceed $137,533 for the Allen Avenue Southeast Area Sanitary Sewer Replacement GP 1332, authorizing the auditor to pay all moral obligations related to this change order and declaring the same to be an emergency.
Thank you. Leader Mario.
Madam President, I move we adopt ordinance number 27.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to adopt ordinance number 27. Are there any remarks? Hearing none, roll call vote, please.
Merrill,
Aye.
Babcock,
Aye.
Crystal Smith, Maley, Kimbrough, Scaglione, Chris Smith, Fisher, Cooks, Sacco, Morris. 11 yeas, Madam President.
Thank you. Motion carries and ordinance number 27 is adopted. Ordinance number 28, please.
An ordinance authorizing the mayor or director of public service to file any action plan amendments to the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development in order to implement the Home Art Program, enter into all contracts necessary for the timely expenditure of the funds, and to enter into all contracts necessary to allow for the effective operation of the programs during the grant period, using all procurement processes authorized in the Canton Codified Ordinances or in the Ohio Revised Code, and declaring the same to be an emergency.
Thank you. Leader Mario.
Madam President, I move we adopt ordinance number 28.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to adopt ordinance number 28. Are there any remarks? Hearing none, roll call vote, please.
Merrill,
Aye.
Babcock,
Aye.
Crystal Smith, Maley, Kimbrough, Scaglione, Chris Smith, Fisher, Cooks, Sacco, Morris. 11 yeas, Madam President.
Thank you. The ordinance, or motion carries and ordinance number 28 is adopted. Ordinance number 29, please.
A resolution authorizing the mayor or director of public service to apply for, accept, and enter into a supplemental water pollution control loan fund agreement on behalf of the city of Canton for planning, design, and/or construction of wastewater facilities, and designating a dedicated repayment source for the loan, and declaring the same to be an emergency.
Thank you. Leader Mario.
Madam President, I move we adopt ordinance number 29.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to adopt ordinance number 29. Are there any remarks? Hearing none, roll call vote, please.
Merrill,
Aye.
Babcock,
Aye.
Crystal Smith,
Aye.
Bailey,
Aye.
Kimbrough,
Aye.
Scaglione,
Aye.
Chris Smith, Fisher, Cooks, Stacko, Morris. 11 yeas, Madam President.
Thank you. Motion carries and ordinance number 29 is adopted. Ordinance number 30, please.
An ordinance authorizing the mayor or director of public service to enter into change order number 5 and final with H.M. Miller Construction Company in an amount not to exceed $971,135.52 for the Allen Avenue Southeast Area Sanitary Sewer Replacement GP 1332. Authorizing the auditor to pay all moral obligations related to this change order and declaring the same to be an emergency.
Thank you. Leader Merrill.
Madam President, I move we adopt ordinance number 30.
Second.
It's moved and seconded to adopt ordinance number 30. Are there any remarks? Hearing none, roll call vote, please.
Merrill, Babcock, Crystal Smith, Bailey,
Aye.
Kimbrough, Scaglione,
Aye.
Chris Smith, Fisher, Cooks, Stacko, Morris. 11 yeas, Madam President.
Thank you. Motion carries and ordinance number 30 is adopted. Ordinance number 31, please.
An ordinance authorizing the mayor or director of public service to enter into contract with the Canton Board of Health to facilitate further renovations on the first floor of the Sears building as per the FY23 COVID-19 Enhanced Operations Grant through the Ohio Department of Health and enter into a change order with Canton Ohio Building Corporation in an estimated amount of $150,000 to renovate the eastern portion of the first floor of the Sears building. Waive the informal resolution requirements of Canton Codified Ordinance 105.09 for any purchases made for this project. Authorizing the auditor to pay all moral obligations for contract change orders otherwise approved by the Board of Control pursuant to Canton Codified Ordinance 105.14 within the established dollar amount thresholds for the project. Amending appropriation ordinance number 247, 2024, and declaring the same to be an emergency.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Leader Merrill.
Madam President, I move we adopt ordinance number 31.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that you adopt ordinance number 31. Are there any remarks? Hearing none, roll call vote, please.
Merrill, Babcock,
Aye.
Crystal Smith, Bailey, Kimbrough, Scaglione, Chris Smith, Fisher, Cooks, Stacko, Morris. 11 yeas, Madam President.
Thank you. The motion carries and ordinance number 31 is adopted. We are now under announcement of committee meetings. Our next meeting date is March the 31st, 2025, and committee meetings will start at 6:45 p.m. Community and Economic Development.
CD will meet at 6:45 on March 31st.
Thank you, Member Smith. Public Safety and Thoroughfares.
Madam President, Public Safety and Thoroughfares will meet same time, same place.
And will someone call Finance for Member Geovasis?
Finance will be same time, same place.
Thank you. And Personnel?
Personnel will be same time, same place on March 31st.
Thank you very much. We are now under miscellaneous business. Is there any miscellaneous business anyone wishes to bring before the body? Hearing none, Leader Merrill.
Madam President, I move we adjourn.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to adjourn. Madam Clerk, roll call vote.
Merrill,
Aye.
Babcock,
Aye.
Crystal Smith, Bailey, Kimbrough, Scaglione, Chris Smith, Fisher, Cooks, Stacko, Morris. 11 yeas, Madam President.
Thank you very much, Madam Clerk. We are adjourned.